Lynn Sutton tries. Oh, how hard he tries, but last year's second-place winner can't get up to speed. Eb Rose of Houston, Texas, once qualified and then bumped, tries another car and wins the last spot in the starting field. This successful bid ends qualifying for the 1963 500.
Just a few minutes before the end of qualification, Roger Ward takes his last chance. His crew has worked all night to repair the damage, and his attempt is tinged with desperation. The heart of the crowd goes out to him as he tries to coax more speed from his jinxed racer. Flag falls, and Ward pulls in. The officials get the time, 153.623 miles per hour. Not good enough. Stunned, Roger Ward sits in his car. He can't believe what has happened.
Wally Dallenbach qualified the number 10 Gilmore Eagle Offie at 178.421 miles per hour and was the only car bumped in 1972.
Then Janet Guthrie makes a decision. The speed she needs to qualify is still missing amidst all the mechanical problems. Foyt's backup car, shook down but not qualified, is loaned to her for practice. The speed climbs. She makes her point, but time runs out. Janet will not start the 500.
Hancock is very close to being able to bump his way into the lineup. Lap number 3 is complete. One more to go for Gordy. This is going to be a very important lap.
Rich Vogler now will be starting to get just a bit worried. That smile will definitely be dying in his lips.
Oh, it's definitely good enough. Third lap was his quickest. 207.330. Vogler is going to his backup car as we speak. The average is 206.5. That's good enough to bump Rich from the lineup. If Gordy can keep it together here for the final turn and the straightaway, he will make this year's 500-mile field. Here he comes off of corner number 4, and the checkered flag is waved for Gordon Johncock. He completes the run. Will it be good enough, or will the fourth lap fall off to the point that he doesn't make it? Here's the white flag. Vogler has one more lap to go. Third lap of speed is down a little bit from the first and second laps, but it is still good enough. The third lap for Rich Vogler is 207.168 miles an hour. The average is 207.3. Rich Vogler has a half a lap to go, and he'll be back in this year's 500 field.
Looking very, very smooth, too. Obviously turning these laps pretty easily. Looking unflustered in there, not using up all the road at all.
Here he comes off the fourth corner. The checkered flag is about to be waved by Dwayne Sweeney, and Rich Vogler completes the run. Unless he had just a horrendous fourth lap, he is in the starting field. And here it is. Yes, he did make it in. The fourth lap was the slowest of the four, 206.422 miles an hour, but his four-lap average is 207.126.
Rutherford earlier today made his way into the starting lineup in the 89 Lola Cosworth. This was about 1:35 this afternoon. He had turned in laps of 213.245 as wife Betty looked on. The second lap was 213.701. His third lap of qualifying for Johnny Rutherford was a little bit slower than the previous two. It was 213.134 miles an hour. Rutherford on his fourth and final lap of qualifying. You can see the backstretch speed there at 216 miles an hour, and the third and fourth corner speed of 208.5. And his fourth and final lap of qualifying was slower than the previous three as he came down and took the checkered flag from Dwayne Sweeney. The fourth lap was 212.314 miles an hour, giving him a four-lap average of 213.097. And at the moment, he is second on the bubble after Phil Kruger. Out of corner number 4 he comes, and taking the white flag, Rich Vogler has one more tour of the 2.5-mile oval. Johnny Rutherford has to be sweating it. There's Emily, Rich's wife, looking on. The third lap is a little bit slower than lap number 2, but it's faster than lap 1, and it's still good enough. 42.204 seconds, and the speed 213.250, and there's the average, 213.2, good enough to bump Johnny Rutherford, and there he is.
Well, that's going to do it for just got to walk to the car now and think about getting back into the Indianapolis 500. Richie did a great job, particularly in a car that he never saw half an hour ago.
Here he comes down for the checkered flag, and Rich Vogler has bumped his way into the starting lineup for this year's 500-mile race. We'll wait to absolutely confirm that. Yes, he does. The fourth lap was still good enough. 42.208 seconds and a speed of 213.230. A very consistent run for Rich Vogler, and the four-lap average is 213.239 miles an hour. There it is. The green flag is out for Johnny Rutherford, a three-time winner of the Indianapolis 500-mile race. Trying to get back in the field. Oh, and the engine is dying. It's going away. The warm-up lap was 217 miles an hour, and the engine goes away. There's the gun. That ends qualifying for this year's 500. Johnny Rutherford's engine lets go in turn number 1 as the green flag comes out, and the three-time winner will not be starting this year's race. But Bernard Jourdain is happy and celebrates with members of his crew. He is in on the other spectrum of the emotional chart.
The brightest color schemes all month here are the Glidden cars of John Menard, and you remember Cogan and Gary Bettenhausen. Well, this is the third car, which is an 89 Lola, a backup car that Cogan and Bettenhausen could have used, but they're safely in the field. Therefore, Sneva got the call, and he put the overalls and helmet on.
Team car to Gary Bettenhausen's fastest machine in the field, the car that ran 224 here last Sunday. The Menard team, there he is up against the fence again as Sneva puts the 3-year-old version of that car into the field. The other member of that team, of course, is Kevin Cogan, who is in row 6. Sneva at this juncture is the slowest man at 2:13, but I guarantee you it didn't feel slow as he horsed that thing around, and really a yeoman's effort. And again, when all was said and done, he kind of smiled and opened up for the reporters and said, well, when it comes right down to it, I really don't want to be stuck out on the golf course on Memorial Day or cutting the grass. I want to be here racing. I wonder if he still thought that right there at the exit 4.
Right there, turn 4. We've seen the action down there all month. We saw Sneva. I'm not sure you could even have put the race program between the tires and the wall on that run.
Willie Ribbs on the front straightaway at Indianapolis takes the green flag in this historic effort to become the first black man ever to drive the Indy 500. The bubble speed you saw, 213.189. Here is a man who has learned his lessons. The white flag falls. He is 2.5 miles, some 40 seconds away from history, 2:17.5. A little bit of drop off that time, 0.4 of a mile an hour, still very consistent and well within the window, and he's doing it just exactly right. There's nothing to criticize here.
He's almost there. 2 more corners, turn 3 and turn 4. Now remember, his team give him the information of his lap speed as he comes off turn 4 and passes them. But Willie T. Ribbs looks as if he's in the field.
Ribbs down. Nothing can go wrong now. He can coast into Indy 500 history. The checkered flag falls. Ribbs has made it.
Consider the fate of the reigning IndyCar champion, not Indy 500 champion, but the series champ. Bobby Rahal trying to develop his own American-made chassis, and boy, have they been looking for speed and have not been able to find it.
This is a major struggle week for Bobby Rahal. They keep going back to the toolbox, but the tools aren't in there to make this car go faster. They're spending a lot of time developing next year's car, which was to be debuted in June. Now it's put back until August. But Rahal is not comfortable with this car. It shows in his driving. He's inconsistent. It's not fast enough. He gets in trouble almost sometimes. For the reigning champion, it's an unusual month of struggle. Take it easy here. Jan's comment earlier where they dialed some front wing into this car to get rid of the push. When you get rid of push, you can keep the power on deeper into the corner and get back on the power earlier. But his speed is coming down. That bump, or bobble off turn 4 has cost him a little bit. 2:17.4. However, the average is still above 2:18. Cheever needs 2 more corners, and he's in the race.
He paid dearly for that push the last time by. This time he's got to keep that car in line and on form off turn 4. If he can do it, he'll be in the show, and the spotlight will shift back to Rahal. Here he comes to complete this dramatic qualifying run. Eddie Cheever down to the checkered flag. flag. I think there's no doubt that he's done it. We'll wait for the confirmation from the computer. And here it is, 217.599, but it was close. He fell to 216 flat. Rahal, again, out close to the wall, comes down to take the white flag. 1 to go. The gloom on Carl Hogan's face, I think, may tell the story as we await the time for lap 3.
No good.
2:14.782. It is not going to happen.
He's out.
Bobby Rahal will not make the 500. He got the shot, but at the big moment, he could not find the speed. Rahal, who had gone 2:15 in the car earlier today, Debbie knows the story. The watch tells it all. It's all over for Bobby Rahal. The national champion will not make the Indy 500.
The only thing that doesn't tell lies in racing is a stopwatch, and it is not telling Bobby Rahal or Carl Hogan or Debbie Rahal enough. He takes the checkered flag, but Bobby Rahal has struggled here, and I'm sure it's over. It is over. He's out. He's out.
He found a couple of miles an hour on the last lap. He falls short by just about 1 mile an hour.
One more lap, but I think at this stage he knows he's on tenterhooks here. I don't think he believes that this speed will hold to keep him in the race.
You got a glimpse of the speeds on the first 2 laps there. Now working lap 3 at 220, or working lap 4. His lap 3 was at 220.0 miles an hour, 049. So Scott Goodyear, everyone at this point assumed totally on the edge. They looked down to see if this run would be waved off, but the surprise was that it was not.
And it's the team manager, John Dangler, who would make the decision to wave the yellow, not the driver. And of course, our flagman waves the checkered flag when he doesn't see yellow, and Goodyear thinks he's in.
220.7 miles an hour. Marco Greco has completed 3 laps. He is now at 221.3. He can make it into this 500 field.
Oh, this is good. This is a good run for Marco Greco. Look at the average, well above what it needs to bump out Scott Goodyear. Goodyear now needs problems for Marco Greco, or he is out.
If Marco Greco continues at this average, which it looks like he will be the 6th lowest in the field, but that is a perfectly good position. Marco Greco turns onto the home stretch. The checkered flag lies just ahead. He has completed now his 4-lap, 10-mile qualification run, and Marco Greco had it nailed all of the way. He's in the field at 221.2 miles an hour. Scott Goodyear is out of the field, Jan Beekes. 9 times the Unser family has taken the checkered flag here in Indianapolis. The 3rd lap complete. 225.113. It begins to climb. The average 223.725. The last lap will tell the tale, and it will have to be hot.
And that first lap of 221 may tell the story, because I don't see enough speed here through our speed traps to lift Al Unser into the 227s or 8 range, which is what it will take to bring that average above Emerson's. Al Jr. is in deep trouble.
Heading for the checkered flag, keeping an eye now on the final lap average. He has to beat 224.9. 224.907, he can't do it. He doesn't do it. Al Unser Jr. has not yet qualified. Fittipaldi is still in the field.
Oh, drops down. If he's slow off 4, he's slow down this front straight. This doesn't look like a good lap.
It's decision time for Penske Racing now. The 3rd lap at 224.243 miles an hour, averaging 224.854. Now, will they take this run or wait for the 3rd possible attempt on this car, the last possible attempt? Keeping an eye on the starter, keeping an eye down at the Penske team members at the far end of the pit area as Emerson Fittipaldi tries desperately to make it into the 500 field. Will they take it? Will they take the run? Will they take the run? And they do. The checkered flag flies for Emerson Fittipaldi. He completed the 4th lap at 225.068 miles an hour, averaging 224.907 miles an hour. Emerson Fittipaldi is in the 33rd and final qualifying position.
But this looks like a better lap overall.
Can he maintain the average? It looks much better. We'll take a look at the third lap. 2:25.9. He's averaging 2:25.494, and that is fast enough.
Just about 2 miles to go, and we will have no Penske driver in this race. Johansson about to knock off the double IndyCar champion, former world champion, and he has everything he needs. He just needs one more corner.
Tony Bettenhausen and his driver Stefan Johansson, they stuck with the Reynard. Worked on it as hard as they could, made drastic changes, as you heard Jan Bikas tell you, and here he takes the lap. And the fourth lap complete. And 2:25.547 takes Emerson Fittipaldi, the second and final Penske car, out of the field. Tony Bettenhausen has a car in the field.
On the racetrack is Roberto Guerrero, and I don't think he's been out in this car at all, but he's going to try to put it in the show. This is another car from the Hubbard Emke team.
Well, this is a tough situation. You go out, you've never been in the car, and the first thing you do is got to qualify. I mean, you're going to get 2 or 3 corners to feel the car out.
Not a good situation, really.
It's not one that we raise our hand for and offer to do for nothing, that's for sure.
But you know, that was a nice gesture by Roberto Guerrero. His first lap was 206 miles an hour. He knew that he wouldn't get the car in the race, and so he came off the track to allow others to try to do so. And next will be Jared Schrader.
There is bad news for all you fans of Max Pappas. They will not be able to make an attempt at, and I just don't think they got enough time to get it fixed, because when they fired the car again to push him out, it sounded exactly the same as before. Listen. And you guys were still thinking it's clutch.
It sounds like a clutch. Anytime that I've ever had that situation, it sounds like a clutch. And this is a team that was trying so desperately to get this whole package together.
Might be over for Buddy Lazier, though. He's off the pace.
Yeah. Just doesn't have the speed necessary.
Using the track to do it, too. Going right up next to the turn 4 wall.
First lap is 218.526. And Kara knows that it's not going to be good enough.
There was a time yesterday that we thought that may be an okay average time to do this. That's how much has changed in 24 hours, because yesterday we were thinking they may different. So they're going to abort. They're calling him in, and they want him to go right back in line.
So again, so do you get a yellow and get him off the track and get him back in and get him, represent him, hopefully?
Good question. All right, let's take a look at the second lap. It's 223.070, and now he is below what's needed.
Jay Howard is back in this show as it sits right now.
Wow. They're going to wave it off. They're going to abort the run. He's got one more.
That's what he's saying. That's what you're saying is.
But is there time? Remember, if there's an incident on the track,
oh boy, he was in it. No, Sarah, you're back in.
Safe,
you're
Sarah.
back in.
You're okay. You're back in.
One more, Mike. One more. Yeah, their times are very similar to Hunter Ray's times right now. And like I said, you know, Marco and Danica are looking at this and shaking their heads right now. This is not what they want to see.
Well, 2 things they don't want to see: that speed and the rain.
I don't want to see the rain either.
No, no one does, other than Pippa, man.
Yeah. All right, Conway about to complete the run here as Michael Andretti continues to scratch his head and wonder what in the world is going on that we can't find speed.
Checker flag, Mike. Checker flag.
223.415. Average 223.449. The field is filled for the 500, and now we begin the bumping on the bubble as Rafael Matos, Dreyer and Reinbold, the entrant on the race car. The white flag drops. Lap number 3 is down a little into the 224 mile an hour barrier. 224.858.
But he actually went quicker into turn 1.
Finished second here at the Indianapolis 500 in 2002. We'll let that
lay where it might. And his best start was 7th. That was in 1993 here at Indy. And the rain is going to hold off for Paul Tracy. He's going to complete the run off of the 4th corner onto the straightaway. Here's the checkered flag, and Paul Tracy is in. Mike Conway is out. The average for Paul Tracy, it is a great job. 224.939, and he is way up in the 9th row. Conway is out.
And one of the reasons they may have gone now, you might argue, let's wait a little bit, but there are many cars waiting to pounce, so they decided we're going to go ahead and make sure we get an opportunity. Marco Andretti, if he gets bumped, is back here. Obviously, he's not going if he's in the field. Right behind him is Sebastian Saavedra. Then we have Rafa Matos a little bit further back and others. And what we're going to see is not only a race on track, but a race amongst the pit guys, physically pushing the car. Who can push it the quickest once somebody commits to get in the front of that line and get the proper position.
Pretty far off right now.
More than 2 miles an hour off.
Yeah, Mike Conway is
not going to
make the Indy 500 this year. Wow. And he's already backed off.
Yep, he's backed it down. Well, he had a great run going last year at the Indy 500 on the next to the last lap. Actually, after the leader had taken the white flag, he was involved in a horrible crash in turn number 3 when Ryan Hunter-Reay ran out of fuel. Was sidelined the entire remainder of the season last year, but came back with a win at Long Beach. One more lap to go, and we're told that rain could be as close as a half hour. 2:23.564, 3rd lap for Ryan Hunter-Reay.
Well, that would be the saving grace for him anyway. It would be rain, but not for those that haven't run.
Yep. Best start here in Indianapolis for Ryan Hunter-Reay was 17th in 2010. Finished 6th in 2008. And his run is over.
Checkered flag.
And one spot remains open. Ryan Hunter-Reay with an average of 223.690. There are 2 cars slower than him in the field right now, Rafael Matos and Alex Lloyd. Here he is on the straightaway, taking the white flag.
White flag, white flag.
One more tour of the 2.5 mile oval for Marco. 224.576, just a little bit faster on lap number 3 than lap 2.
And he's even faster into turn 1, 228.3, so he's certainly not backing off. He's even faster yet.
Ryan Hunter-Reay and Becky Gordon, his fiance, on your right. Realizes that if Marco can bring it through corner number 4 and successfully take the checkered flag, he will get into the race. Marco Andretti survives a painstaking afternoon. The checkered flag drops, and Marco Andretti does indeed get into the field with a 224.628 miles an hour. He'll start inside row number 10.
So when I talk about you want to make sure you beat 2 cars, right now Hinch is not doing that. He is tracking as the slowest of the cars to have finished their runs. There's Sam Schmidt, the owner of Hinch's car, as well as 2 others that are looking to be in the field for the 500. And that's got to be a little bit worrisome. Now you sit here and you say to yourself, okay, have the track conditions slowed down? Is everybody else that goes now going to be slower than those guys earlier? Will I get a chance to make another run later on today? I mean, I can't imagine how quickly the mind spins when you watch these numbers come in, and they're not what you need them to be.
But the driver does not need to have that in his mind. The only thing you need to be thinking of when you're in that car is let everybody else worry about the strategy. Your job is just to go as fast as you can. Then when you come in, the engineers will figure it all out.
And so the slowest of the 11 to complete a run, James Hinchcliffe, again, Oriol Serbia, did not complete his qualification attempt earlier on today. So he'll come here to see the white flag. One more lap to go in this qualification attempt. Tracking right at 32nd, 33rd.
There really is nothing he can do right now to go any faster.
No, he's flat out. He's doing everything the car has. He's putting out there.
is so much. You can't be stressed. You'll make a mistake.
It's really like riding a horse, because a horse knows when you're nervous so close to the wall. The steering wheel in this race car knows if you're nervous also.
Checkered flag for Connor Daly, 32nd. James Hinchcliffe is bumped.
My goodness. I would have never said, Alan, starting the month that Hinchcliffe would have been on the bubble.
The 2016 pole winner.
Amazing, amazing. And he's having to fight to get the last place on the grid.
Now remember earlier today when Hinch made his run, the one that they've just withdrawn the time from, he was the car sitting at the head of the line when the first rainstorm hit. And they sat there for 2 hours and 21 minutes and then went out onto the racetrack to make his 4-lap attempt. You heard his teammate, Robert Wickens, who was the first car out on the track after the second. Rick, something going on?
I want to point out on the radio just a few moments ago as he was pulling out, first they had told him, weave from side to side, get some heat in the tires, we want you to do that for us. But immediately after he did that, he said, I've got a wicked vibration, a wicked vibration. He said it twice. Then a moment later he came back and said, wait, I think it's going to go away. And then he came back on one last time and said, I think it's going to go away. Ooh. But now it looks like they're still going to have a problem, and now they're talking about waving him into the pit box.
They have done that, Rick. He's come onto the warm-up road. His crew running up the pit lane from the turn 1 end to the turn 4 end where that car will come. That's no short task, but the clock continuing to tick on James Hinchcliffe. Listen to this.
Very, 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 very bad rotation. Vibration. Very bad vibration.
You can hear that in his voice.
Yeah.
Copy, can you run it or you want to pit for another set of tires? It's going away, it's going away. Copy, pit. Oh, it's going away. Copy, going away. No, it's coming back.
Chaos as the clock counts down on bump day at Indianapolis.
If he makes it into this field, this will be a miraculous Alonso-style comeback that only a driver like Fernando Alonso could pull off. The two-time Formula One world champion comes to the line to complete his one and only chance. 2:27.2, and that was an amazingly consistent run to go second quick.
He crosses the line to start his last lap.
That's faster than Alonso again.
2:27.2 faster.
If he
He's
can
just got to hang on, and you've knocked out Alonso.
This 23-year-old American could deny a two-time Formula One world champion a shot at motorsport's Triple Crown. This is one of IndyCar's smallest teams knocking over a global motorsport giant.
Working turn 3, he comes down below the white line, slightly high, but the car looks stable. I'm watching turn 4 apex speed. Minimum speed, 226 miles an hour. That's great speed. Let's listen to the radio.
Yard of bricks, Kyle Kaiser. Has he knocked Alonso out? He has!